Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to make this DIY calendar. It's really cute and completely customizable to your style, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So here we go. Some things you'll need are a computer, at least 12 pages of printer paper, a hole punch, preferably a single hole punch, a ruler, some glue, a glue stick would probably be much better, some scissors, a pen, and washi tape, which is completely optional. So the first thing we're going to do is to look up 12 pictures up on Google Images, or this is also where you can get some pictures you have lying around the house. But I decided to go with wolves because they're my favorite animal, and my previous calendar was wolves and I really liked it. So I'm just going through and saving each picture that I want. I decided to make a separate folder for this project, and I'm renaming each picture either Wolf 1 or Wolf 2 depending on which month I want it to go with. So you're just going to go at least 11 more times deciding which pictures you want. So now we're going to look up the calendar portion, and I'm just typing in January 2015 calendar. You're going to do this for each month obviously, and they have many options on Google, and I'm going through looking for a more clean cut. I don't like a lot of color or flashiness, and I was also looking for one that had the different holidays on it. And I took a few moments to look at the different ones, and I really didn't see much, so I ended up just going back up to the first one that I saw because it seemed to fit what I was looking for. So I'm just going to be saving that one as well. I usually click on view image first and then save it, and it's going straight into the same folder as the pictures are. A tip for this also is to save the calendar as the month that it is, because that way you don't have to click on each image to see what month it is, you can just read the text. So now I'm just going to be doing that for each month. I'm changing January to February, and I decided to go with similar looking calendars because I wanted each one to match, but you can go with a different calendar for each month. So now comes the slightly more difficult part. This does take some patience, and I'm using Microsoft Word for all this, and I'm choosing a blank document. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Insert and then Pictures, and I'm going to go to the folder that I have for this project, and then I'm going to choose which photo I want for January, since that is where I'm starting. And for some reason on mine I have to change the position first before I can stretch the image. So the position I'm changing it to is top center, and now I can stretch it. So I'm going to be stretching the left and right sides first, and I'm stretching it to about ½ an inch before the edge of the page. And I know it looks a little bit weird right now because it's all stretched, but right here when you stretch the bottom about down halfway, it looks just fine. Once you have that where you want it, now we're going to be going to the calendar portion, and you want to make sure that the text cursor is right underneath the first image. That way when you put the calendar it goes underneath it and you don't have to waste time switching it all around. So we're going to be doing the same thing, going to Insert and then Pictures, and we're going to be doing January, and it makes it a lot easier so I don't have to look at the image first. And we're going to be doing the same thing. I have to change the position again, and this one we're going to be changing to bottom center, and I'm stretching it just about to where the above image is so that they match, and just that's ½ an inch from the edge of the paper there. Now that I am done with that and I like how it looks, I'm going to be saving the entire calendar. And since it is on Word, it didn't recognize that obviously I wanted to save it as a picture, so I had to browse and go to the calendar folder that I had. But I'm just saving it and just renaming it as one, nothing special, just to make it a lot easier later on. Now that is saved and I'm moving on to the next one, I'm just going to select New Blank Document, and you're going to be doing the same thing for each month. And remember, this does take a bit of patience, but you will get through it and it'll be completely worth it in the end. Next comes the easiest step in this entire thing, and that is printing out all the images. I know this takes a lot of ink, so you want to make sure that your printer is completely full before you start this project. Now that you have all your pages printed out, you're going to be moving on and folding them in half. And you want to make sure to get the edges as close as you can to each other, because that's going to help you out a lot later on. And for some reason this one turned out pretty perfect, and it folded right underneath the image, but I know they're not all going to be that way and you don't have to get them perfect. As you can see with this one, it didn't fold right underneath the image, but that's completely fine. So we're going to be doing that for each one. The next step is to hole punch all the pages, which ended up being the most difficult step for me, and you'll see why later. So you want to make sure that you hole punch the outer edges, because that eventually is where the nail is going to go through. Here I'm just using a ruler to measure out where I think the middle is. If you have a good eye and you can just hole punch, then that's better, but you want to make sure that you get all the holes as close to each other as you want, because you want the nail to be able to go through each of them. Now comes the difficult part for me. Because I have a 3-hole puncher, I had to fold down the edges a bit to get it in there, because if I just put the whole page in, obviously it would also punch holes in the sides of the paper, and I didn't want that. One down, 11 to go. This next step was the most fun for me, and you're going to want to glue down the pages now. So you're going to fold the page in half and make sure that the calendar portion is on top, and you're going to put the next month down on top of that one. Make sure to glue only the edges of the paper, because if you put it in the middle, it's going to bubble up and it's not going to look very good. This is where a glue stick would probably be much better, but this is all I had. Now that I have glue on all the edges, this is where I'm going to glue the next month on top of this one. And you're just going to put it down, and don't worry if you don't get it right away, you can just slide it around before the glue dries. And so I'm going to be pressing it down just to make sure everything's firm. You can see how the calendar is going to start taking shape. It looks just like a normal calendar. One month is there, and then you flip it up and the next month is right there below it. Repeat this on all of the other months. Once that is done, your calendar is pretty much finished. I'm just giving you a little view here of how it should look. All of the pages are here and the pictures and calendars are all together. At this point you can just hang it up now, but I decided to go one step further. I didn't like how the edges looked hanging out like that, so I decided to create sort of a binding around them. You can see I have my 3 pieces of washi tape, and I've already measured and cut them to the calendar. And you're going to put it on the very edge, not too far down, because then that's going to bind your calendar too much and you won't be able to open it properly. So put it on the very edge there and stick it down. Once you have one side down, you're just going to flip it over, and I folded the outer corners inside, and then you're just going to flip the rest over and stick it down over the top. the next tape, you're going to do the exact same thing. There's nothing different. You're just going to want to match the edges there so it doesn't look completely out of place, and stick it down. And for this one, I decided not to fold the outer corners first. I just stuck everything over the top, and then you'll see me cutting off the excess. I decided to go with 3 pieces of tape just to make sure that everything was nice and firm, but you can just do 2 if you want. And there you go. The calendar is completely finished. You can write something on the top there if you want, but really that's all going to be on the back when you hang it up. So I really enjoyed making this and I love how it turned out. And the last step, all you have to do is to hang it up on your wall for everyone to see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I sure did enjoy making this calendar. And if any of you make this, make sure to tweet me a picture. I'll leave a link in the description to my Twitter. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you guys next time.